All India Radio presents Morning News. Good morning, I'm Valsa Williams. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi stresses importance of immediate, demonstrable and irreversible action against terrorism by all concerned countries. India and US ask Pakistan to take concerted action to dismantle terror infrastructure operating on its soil. Political activities gaining momentum across the country with the announcement of Lok Sabha elections. UK says legally binding changes to Brexit deal agreed with European Union, voting in Parliament today. And in tennis, Indian campaign ends at Indian Wells Masters in the United States. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has stressed on the importance of immediate, demonstrable and irreversible action against terrorism by all concerned countries. In his telephonic conversation with Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan yesterday, Mr. Modi said terrorism remains one of the gravest threats to global peace and security. An official release said Mr. Erdogan expressed condolences for the victims of the recent terror attacks in India and wished a speedy recovery to those injured. Mr. Modi also spoke with Crown Prince of Abu Dhabi, Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan. Both leaders expressed happiness at the growing strength of all-round bilateral cooperation. They reiterated their commitment to further consolidate the comprehensive strategic partnership. Minister of State for Foreign Affairs of Saudi Arabia, Adil bin Ahmed Al Jubair, called on Mr. Modi in New Delhi yesterday. The Prime Minister thanked Saudi Arabia for expressing full solidarity with India in the fight against terrorism in all its forms and manifestations. It was agreed that both sides should work together for verifiable and credible steps against all terrorists without any discrimination. Mr. Al-Jubair also met External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj and discussed the entire gamut of bilateral relations. India and the United States have asked Pakistan to take concerted action to dismantle the terrorist infrastructure and deny safe haven to all terror groups operating in its territory. The understanding was reached during the meeting between Foreign Secretary Vijay Gokhale and U.S. Secretary of State Michael Pompeo in Washington last evening. An official release said both sides also agreed that those who support or abet terrorism in any form should be held accountable. Mr. Gokhale appreciated the firm support that India received from the U.S. in the aftermath of the terrorist attack at Pulwama in Jammu and Kashmir. Mr. Pompeo expressed his understanding of India's concerns regarding cross-border terrorism. U.S. State Department Deputy Spokesperson Robert Palladino in a statement said both sides discussed the importance of bringing those responsible for the Pulwama attack to justice. Activists from Pakistan-occupied areas of Jammu and Kashmir have condemned the Pulwama terror attack and asked Islamabad to dismantle all terror camps operating in POJ&K and parts of Pakistan. At an event held on the sidelines of the 40th session of UN Human Rights Council in Geneva yesterday, Sardar Shaukat Ali Kashmiri, chairman of United Kashmir People's National Party, accused the Pakistan Army of using terrorists for its proxy war against India. He said not just the region, the entire world is suffering from terrorism. Political activities are gaining momentum across the country following the announcement of Lok Sabha elections. Various parties have become busy in giving a final shape to their poll strategy. The meeting of BJP's Manifesto Committee was held in New Delhi yesterday. The party has formed various subcommittees to look into various socio-political and foreign policy matters and have sought inputs from people to be incorporated in the party manifesto. Congress Working Committee meeting will be held at Gandhinagar in Gujarat today to discuss the forthcoming polls. In Uttar Pradesh, Chief Electoral Officer L. Venkateshwarlu held a meeting in Lucknow yesterday with representatives of political parties. Here is a report from our correspondent.
Chief Election Officer of the state also asked them to support the administration and comply with the directions of Election Commission. Eviction drive to remove all banners and posters of political parties and their leaders began from Sunday evening itself and continued in many districts yesterday also. A special vigil is being kept on international Indo-Nepal border and other interstate borders. The state will go into polls in 7 phases starting from 11th April. Sushil Chandra Tiwari, AIR News, Lucknow.
In West Bengal, the State Election Department has urged all parties to strictly abide by the Model Code of Conduct. State Chief Electoral Officer Arif Aftab held a meeting in Kolkata yesterday in this regard. The ruling Trinamool Congress has called a meeting in Kolkata today to finalize the party's candidates list. The Punjab Democratic Alliance, comprising 6 parties, has announced the names of its 7 candidates for the polls. In Tamil Nadu, AIADMK has started its selection process for candidates with interview of ticket aspirants in 10 constituencies. The election officials are making all efforts in the state to ensure free and fair elections with most participation of all eligible voters. Here is a report from our correspondent.
The ruling AIADMK and opposition DMK are now actively involved in negotiations with their alliance partners to identify the specific Lok Sabha constituencies for them to contest, as the deals on the number of seats have already been signed. Kamal Hassan's fledgling Makkal Needhi Mayam is going all alone. Meanwhile, election officials have made a round of all-party meetings at district level to brief them about the Model Code of Conduct. Jai Singh, AIR News, Chennai.
In Kerala, the ruling LDF has started campaigning after announcing its nominees for the polls. Meghalaya Democratic Alliance has announced common candidates for 2 Lok Sabha seats of the state. BJP has slammed Congress President Rahul Gandhi for calling Jaish-e-Mohammed chief Masood Azhar G. Minister of Law and Justice Ravi Shankar Prasad charged Mr. Gandhi for joining the league of those who have called terrorist Osama bin Laden as Osama Ji and Hafiz Saeed Sahab. Talking to reporters, Mr. Prasad said,
हमें लगता था कि राहुल गांधी अपनी गलती का एहसास कर माफी मांगेंगे, लेकिन उनके इर्द गिर्द जो दरबारी हैं, उन्होंने इसको जस्टिफाई किया है। तो इसका एकमात्र निष्कर्ष यही है कि अब कांग्रेस का ये आलम हो गया है कि वोट के लिए वो किसी सीमा तक जा सकते हैं।
Congress spokesperson Randeep Singh Surjewala accused the BJP and a section of the media for twisting Mr. Gandhi's remarks. The Enforcement Directorate ED has attached properties worth 8 crore 46 lakh rupees of Gautam Khaitan and accused in the VVIP chopper scam. In a statement, the ED said properties located in Delhi, Haryana and Uttarakhand have been attached under the Prevention of Money Laundering Act PMLA. The ED also attached immovable and movable properties worth 31 crore rupees in a bank fraud case relating to Zilog Systems Limited, Chennai and others. For quick news updates, follow us on Twitter at AIR News Alerts. The UK government has agreed to legally binding changes in the Brexit deal during discussions between Prime Minister Theresa May and European Union officials at Strasbourg in France. Ms. May's de facto deputy, David Lidington, told Parliament that the Prime Minister had secured the changes that strengthen and improve the withdrawal agreement and political declaration. He said this should be enough to persuade MPs to vote for the agreement today. The MPs are to vote again on the deal today, making the historic decision whether to back her plan or risk a chaotic exit from the EU. Britain is due to leave the EU on the 29th of this month. Algerian President Abdelaziz Bouteflika has announced that he will not seek a 5th term and delayed the 18th of next month's presidential polls, following weeks of protests against his candidacy. In a message, the 82-year-old leader said the elections would follow a national conference on political and constitutional reform to be carried out by the end of this year. The 34th edition of Ahar, the International Food and Hospitality Fair, begins at Pragati Maidan in New Delhi today. Our correspondent reports that Minister for Commerce and Industry Suresh Prabhu will inaugurate the fair.
The fair will feature a wide range of food products, machinery, hospitality, decoration and confectionery items from over 560 participants from India and abroad. Around 20 countries including US, Russia, China, UK, Germany, Italy and Singapore will participate in the 5-day fair. The fair will showcase new trends in food and beverage, hospitality, culinary technology, retail and new innovations. Anupam Mishra, AR News, Delhi.
In sports, the Indian campaign has ended in the Indian Wells Masters tennis tournament at California in the United States. In the men's doubles pre-quarterfinals, the Indo-Canadian pair of Rohan Bopanna and Denis Shapovalov lost to the Serb-Italian team of Novak Djokovic and Fabio Fognini 4-6, 6-1, 8-10. The lone Indian in the singles, Prajnesh Gunneswaran, was beaten by Croatia's Ivo Karlovic in straight sets 3-6, 6-7. Veteran Hindi newsreader Vinod Kashyap has passed away following a prolonged illness. She was 88. She served All India Radio for about 30 years. The veteran newsreader started her career in radio as a drama artist. A prayer meeting in her memory will be held in New Delhi today. And now for an overview of today's newspapers, it's over to Subhadra Ramachandran.
Thank you, Valsa. Pulwama mastermind killed in encounter is a lead story in most papers today. Key Pulwama planner killed in gunfight, headlines the Hindustan Times, quoting the army. The Times of India caption reads, Pulwama terror attack plotter killed in pre-dawn operation. Pompeo Gokhale say Pakistan must crack down on terror, reports the Statesman on the Foreign Secretary's meeting with the US Secretary of State. Delhi reaches out, Beijing keeps it guessing on Azhar listing tomorrow, observes the Indian Express, with 48 hours to go before the UNSC deadline to designate Masood Azhar as a global terrorist ends. After a decade, India no longer the world's top defense importer, notes the Hindustan Times. After plea by Pak woman, Samjhauta verdict put off, reports the Tribune, on the last-minute plea seeking deposition of witnesses from her country. Election Commission nips and buds squabble over polls during Ramzan. Fridays kept off schedule. Owaisi slams parties for praising non-issues, states the Pioneer. The Asian Age, under the caption, Pawar springs a surprise, says a won't fight Lok Sabha polls, observes the apparent volte-face by Nationalist Congress Party Chief Sharad Pawar. The DGCA issuing an advisory for Boeing 737 has been covered widely by the newspapers. The Hindu Business Line says after Ethiopian crash, DGCA issues safety norms for Boeing 737 MAX 8 planes. The Hindustan Times writes air tragedy sparks fears. 28 March date for 10% quota challenge is the lead in the Statesman. Stocks at 6-month high, rupee gains muscle high, highlights the Economic Times. And finally, 5,916 voters in Punjab, more than 100 years old, reports the Tribune. It also notes mismatches aplenty in electoral rolls. With that, it's back to you, Valsa.
Thank you, Subhadra. And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi stresses importance of immediate, demonstrable and irreversible action against terrorism by all concerned countries. India and US ask Pakistan to take concerted action to dismantle terror infrastructure operating on its soil. Political activities gaining momentum across the country with the announcement of Lok Sabha elections. UK says legally binding changes to Brexit deal agreed with European Union, voting in Parliament today. And in tennis, Indian campaign ends at Indian Wells Masters in the United States. With that, we end the morning news. Have a nice day.